first ever taken from the surface of the planet's polar region, where Phoenix made the first successful propulsive landing on Mars since Viking 2 in 1976. Another first is this photograph taken by NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter of Phoenix suspended from its parachute on its descent to the Martian surface. No spacecraft had ever before been photographed by another as it was landing on Mars. Phoenix continues to survey and photograph the area where it landed. It'll soon begin digging into the ice-rich soil to study the history of water there and whether the Martian Arctic soil could support life. The 3-month-long Phoenix mission will also study weather on Mars. The STS-124 crew will begin its mission aboard Space Shuttle Discovery with a May 31st launch from the Kennedy Space Center. The official launch date was set by shuttle program managers following their flight readiness review of the vehicle.
The STS-124 is going to be something of a milestone for the Space Shuttle program. Since the Columbia accident and our subsequent return to flight efforts, this will be the 10th flight we have flown since Columbia. After STS-124 is complete, we will have 10 more to go. So we're really hitting the halfway point here.
The STS-124 crew, commanded by Mark Kelly, will deliver several key components of the Japanese Experiment Module, or Kibo, to the International Space Station. The Japanese pressurized module is Kibo's centerpiece. The size of a bus, the GEM will be the largest laboratory on the station, and a world-class one, too. Some believe the GEM will make significant contributions in chemistry, physics, and material and life sciences.
Certainly has that potential, and I hope one day to be able to look at some new invention or new discovery that came from the laboratory that I installed, or my crew installed on Space Station.
Also going up on Discovery, Kibo's 2 robotic arms. Launch is scheduled for 5:02 p.m. Eastern on the 31st. NASA engineers at the Ames Research Center and the Marshall Space Flight Center recently conducted wind tunnel tests for the Constellation program's Crew Launch Vehicle. A 25-to-1 scale model of the CLV was fitted with 150 miniature pressure-sensitive microphones and tested in the Ames unitary and transonic wind tunnels. They simulated the low to supersonic speeds a rocket is subjected to at launch. Ames researchers measured the surface pressures on the model to help define what structural requirements are needed for the CLV to survive the severe stresses of launch. The CLV will power the Orion Crew Exploration Vehicle that'll bring astronauts back to the moon. The Ames Research Center played host to Bay Area veterans and support personnel who served in Iraq and Afghanistan by honoring them at Welcome Home 2008. The special event provided the vets and their families with a day filled with enjoyable activities, live entertainment, food and refreshments, door prizes, and a car show. Ames sponsored the event along with federal, state, and local veterans health care and employment agencies, as well as local vendors. The Glenn Research Center held an open house in celebration of NASA's 50th anniversary. Cleveland area visitors toured research facilities at Lewis Field, including wind tunnels used to develop and test cutting-edge technologies for aeronautics, aerospace, and space. NASA research aircraft also were on display. Glenn engineers, scientists, and technical personnel answered questions and hosted educational activities for children. The open house highlighted NASA's half-century of scientific and technological excellence and the promise of the next 50 years. The Stennis Space Center held its annual Old Timers Day. Center retirees and guests were joined by current employees at a casual cookout and reminisced about the good old days at Stennis. Many of the retirees helped build the Stennis Space Center in the 1960s. The event, held at the center's Cypress House Pavilion, was sponsored by the Stennis Recreational Association. Expedition 15 astronaut Clay Anderson was recently honored by the Kansas City Royals baseball team.
Thank you, Clay.
Anderson was at Kansas City's Kauffman Stadium to throw out the first pitch of a game between the Royals and the visiting Detroit Tigers. The astronaut also signed autographs for fans, including some of the 18,000 students and teachers attending the Royals' 10th annual school day. In 2007, Anderson spent 152 days aboard the International Space Station, serving as flight engineer and science officer for the Expedition 15 crew. During his 6-month stint on the station, he also completed 3 spacewalks. And that's this week at NASA. For more information on these and other stories, go to www.nasa.gov.